It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Worldwide Sports Radio presents the Haystack Show with Mike Guido.
Oh, and here we go on a Monday. It's the Haystack and the Worldwide Sports Radio Network, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, Worldwide SportsRadio.com. Mike Guido, Evan Mazza, my producer. Matt Catarizzola, Big J journalist. It's good to have you in here on a Monday. Happy New Year to you. It's 2020, our first show since then. It's good to be back. We are loaded today. Seriously, it is jam-packed. We should be not only so we have Ray Anzelowitz on at 12:30. Mike McCarthy gets hired by the Dallas Cowboys. At noon today, we should be expecting the decision by Tua Tagovailoa to enter the NFL draft or stay at Alabama. There's going to be a lot of moving parts, so you're going to want to stick with us. All right, so I want to get the obvious in here because I want to begin today with this. So Jason Garrett gets fired by the Cowboys, and then they hire Mike McCarthy this morning. Reports coming out, Ian Rappaport, Adam Schefter, Tom Pelissero, they're all reporting the same thing, that Mike McCarthy stayed at Jerry's house. The interview went incredibly well, that Mike McCarthy is going to be the new head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. And there are a lot of mixed reviews. There are a lot of people that are saying, okay, well, there's nothing wrong with getting a proven Super Bowl winner. There's nothing wrong with getting a guy with a ton of NFL experience. Nothing along those lines. And then there are the same people where they're just like, well, problems in Green Bay. He's already had 2 interviews. Here's my takeaway from this. We have to understand where the Cowboys lie as far as taking guys in for NFL jobs. When was the last time we saw in the NFL? Because everybody wanted, Urban Meyer is our guy. Lincoln Riley is our guy. Those are the sexy picks. Okay, Lincoln Riley, Oklahoma, makes Jalen Hurts look like a superstar. He makes him look like a first-round pick. Friends with Stephen Jones, that was glossed as the new Dallas Cowboy protege. I mean, Lincoln Riley's been tied to this job forever. Urban Meyer, same deal. Urban, great leader, made Tim Tebow look like a first-round pick. I mean, Urban Meyer and Lincoln Riley were the sexy picks for Dallas. They needed to make a next-level, all-time hire. Here's my question. When was the last time that a Super Bowl winning, proven winner, a extensive resume coach was not the sexy pick? There you go. That's the Dallas Cowboys. Think about this. Mike McCarthy, who has had extensive success in this league, is everything that the Cowboys, essentially, if you made a list, if you made a checklist of everything the Cowboys are looking for, Mike McCarthy does check all the boxes. Proven leader, check. NFL experience, check. Super Bowl winner, check. Elevates Dak Prescott, check. Offensive head coach, check. I mean, listen, I understand that. And listen, I'm a Cowboy guy, and I'll be the first to admit, Mike McCarthy was not my first choice. My first 2 choices, and I've said this on the air, they had 2 options, Urban Meyer and Lincoln Riley. But would it be crazy for me to be upset about Mike McCarthy? Yeah, a little. Let's be honest. Mike McCarthy's a proven head coach, as proven as they come in the NFL. I saw a number today, this morning, that ranks head coaches, their playoff wins in this decade. Okay, it goes Bill Belichick number 1 with 20, and then tied for second is John Harbaugh with 10, and Mike McCarthy with 10. Listen, the Cowboys, we might not automatically like this because Jerry Jones and all of it was really fast, and we didn't like the process. They held on to Jason Garrett, and then a day later they hired Mike McCarthy. They wanted a proven NFL guy. It did not go the way that most Cowboys fans expected. They already had 2 interviews that they did not hire him. I understand that. But the resume, the reputation speaks for itself. And this is the point that I'm trying to make. It's very Dallas Cowboys to not, for the guy that's made Super Bowl appearances, has a Super Bowl ring, has the resume that he has, checks all the boxes that the Cowboys want, and he isn't the sexy pick for head coach. I get that it isn't glorious, but listen, as a Cowboy fan today, I don't think I can be upset. We went from having Jason Garrett as a head coach, who I think is all-time bad, to Mike McCarthy, who, if he stepped into the league today, is probably a top 10 head coach in the entire NFL.
Maybe top 5.
I can't be upset. I'm not allowed to be upset. I get that Lincoln and Urban were the sexy guys, but Mike McCarthy looks like he might be the guy to move us going forward. And I'm not really sure how a Cowboy fan can be upset about this. Okay, I want to shift to this now. So, in America, there are things that we can't agree on no matter what. Okay, like this thing on Soleimani, the Iranian general, right? That we can't agree on this thing. Like no matter what, we can't agree on it. Republicans are saying that he's responsible for 1 million American deaths. We had to get it done. We had to get rid of the guy. We had to eliminate him off the face of the planet. And then there are Democrats that are saying, well, they're freaking out because they think it's the beginning of World War III. Okay. Fact of the matter is that nobody can agree on this. There is a clear divide in the way we think about this. Okay. Then there are things that everybody can agree on. Okay. Some things that everybody can be happy about. You know, like the Patriots losing in the first round of the playoffs. Okay. We got to admit now, and we can obviously agree on this today, the sports world is giddy. We're giddy today. We're giddy this week. Okay, the dynasty is over. We can breathe again. And you're right. They're right. Here's the thing. Dynasty is over. Patriots are done. So this is something that should unite America today. The Patriots' reign is finally over, and it's great for everyone. Let's be honest about something in life. We love storybook endings. Okay, we love getting attached to fairy tales. Everything has to have a fitting and happier ending. It's like that in sports also. It is. It's like that in sports. The first thing that was talked about after the Patriots lost was that Tom Brady couldn't possibly go out like that. Pick 6 at home. He can't go out like that. He cannot retire like that. Okay? Now, normally, I tend to agree. I do. I fall victim to the great story as much as anyone. I'm a sports talk show host. It is my job to root for stories. But I think I'd be lying to you if I thought that route was for everyone. It's not. Okay? In Tom Brady's case, it's not. Tom Brady should retire. He should retire. Here's the thing. Tom Brady's career is already a storybook. It's already a storybook. He doesn't need the ending to be great because his career collectively is so incredible. Okay, one of my favorite movies of all time is 13 Hours. John Krasinski, it's about Benghazi. And I don't want to totally play spoiler, but the ending of that movie isn't 100% happy. Okay, most people are left crying at the end with this mixed bag of emotions. They are. Some characters get killed that people like, but even though the ending of the movie wasn't entirely happy and it sends you on this emotional roller coaster, that you still appreciate the film because The first 2 hours of it are virtually flawless. Okay, Brady doesn't need the fairy tale ending. Okay, he's had a fairy tale career. Now, I get that what I'm saying now is moot, because Brady in all likelihood is going to come back because he's a competitor and he loves football and all that. But he has to understand that if he continues playing, he may never get his full satisfaction he's looking for. Okay, in the NFL, players gamble on themselves. Players gamble on themselves, and sometimes it pays off and sometimes it doesn't. But Brady could play next year, whether it's for the Patriots or not, and get bounced in the first round or underwhelm, have another subpar season, and he still just kind of gradually declines. That could very well. He doesn't get his storybook ending because he's physically incapable of having it. Okay, just as often as we have the conversation about how players need to retire on the right note, we also have the conversation about how players should have retired years before they actually did. Okay, we've had those years where a quarterback comes in, he 3 years a little too late, and he looks done. He should have retired 2 or 3 years ago.
Eli.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Okay, plus, I also want to bring this up. The decline is clear now. That this is an argument. This isn't an argument anymore. Brady is just simply not that good anymore. He's just not. And he's having fairly common older quarterback problems. And the thing that I find amazing is that most people are just failing to acknowledge it, to truly acknowledge it. Post-game shows, they're all talking about how he was down this year because he had no weapons and he needs better perimeter players. He didn't have Gronk. Let's be honest. You couldn't have watched Brady all year and thought that was his problem. You couldn't have. Okay, he's sailing balls. He's missing dump-off layup throws. He can't move even a little bit. The arm strength isn't there. Tom Brady's problem has nothing to do with weapons and everything to do with him. That's the reality of this. I'm not going to say weapons wouldn't help because they would help anybody, but that's not his primary issue. Okay, this is what happens with us also. When great players finally hit the downturn, we keep trying to find excuses for why they're not playing like themselves until, honestly, we just can't anymore. Okay, we can't keep making excuses for Brady. Okay, it's okay to admit that he's not the same. Okay, I don't think he's capable of winning a Super Bowl anymore. His career might as well be over now. And no, I'm not going to say that I'm never going to rule out Brady. I'm completely ruling out Brady forever. I am. No disrespect to him, but he's done. I spent the first 5 minutes of this segment praising his career. But right now, I know what I see. Brady is done.
Well, did you think Peyton was capable of winning a Super Bowl in 2015?
He was terrible.
He had a horrible year. 9 touchdowns, 17
interceptions.
Yeah,
but you got to keep in mind that the defense that Peyton had in Denver that year was historically good.
That's exactly what they said about Brady's defense this year.
But
historically good.
But it isn't. Brady's defense was not historically good this year. They played a historically bad schedule.
It was. I wouldn't say. All right. I'm not going to say it was overrated or anything like that. I think it was. I think it was a.
I mean,
they
really struggled. That defense struggled against teams that could actually score points.
Well,
they struggled against Kansas City. They struggled against Houston. They struggled against Miami. I mean,
not the first time, but they did the second time. Not the first time. I think the defense is still pretty good.
It's right. It's good. It's not great.
I think what happened was down the stretch. Their offense was ineffective, and I think it's a combination of everything. I think it's a combination of Tom Brady. I think it's also a combination of the offensive line being banged up and the fact that his weapons were, other than Julian Edelman, N'Keal Harry, who was trying to develop, who was developing, Philip Dorsett, a 37-year-old Benjamin Watson. I think it's a combination of all those things. Their offense wasn't as effective, and I'd like their defense to be better than it had to be better.
I mean, listen. Let's think about this for a second. If we're going to stray onto this note, right? We keep saying that Brady had no weapons, and I'm with them to a certain extent. Brady did not have great weapons, but
did at the beginning of the year.
Think about this.
Look at what happened week 1.
If we went into the year thinking that he was going in with Julian Edelman, Mohamed Sanu, first-round pick rookie N'Keal Harry, and Philip Dorsett, would we have said that he had no weapons then?
Sanu struggled a lot, though.
That's fine. But if we went into the year thinking like that, thinking that those were his weapons, were we not thinking, yeah, Brady could work with that. He can make that work.
No,
he absolutely could.
But at one point,
he's worked with less receivers.
But at one point, he had Julian Edelman, Josh Gordon, AB, Sony Michel,
yeah,
Burkhead.
But he had that for 1 week.
Exactly. So that's my point. So once all those guys disappeared, then yeah, I could say that he had no weapons compared to what he had at one point.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Agreed. But my point is, you couldn't have watched Brady all year and have thought that the weapons were his primary issue.
Oh no, it's
not. Brady just isn't very good anymore. He's just not.
I mean, he threw for 4,000 yards this year again. I'm not going to say he isn't very good or anything like that. I do think he played a part in struggling. There was a lot of throws where he missed. There was a lot of if he struggled, when you watch him this year, if he's done, he's done. But I don't think he's done. I watched him against Tennessee, and I still didn't think he was done. I watched him against the Titans. I'm like, he's still playing
but Evan, he was missing throw after throw in that game.
I can't blame Brady. Oh, you mean like the throw to Ben Watson that got called back to a penalty? I'm sorry. I look at that game against Tennessee, and
I'm not
still
saying he's not capable
Brady.
of making particular good throws in a game. I'm saying that the consistency that we're used to seeing with Brady, Brady for the last number of years has been a primarily dump-off quarterback, right? Screen, over the middle, short 5-yard pass, that kind of guy, right? He's missing those throws now, okay? 90% of those throws are behind receivers. They're short.
Was the pass to Julian Edelman a drop or a missed throw? It was a drop. Julian Edelman dropped passes and fumbled this year. That never happens. Again, I'm not putting all the blame away for Tom Brady. I'm not. I watched Brady. I saw what happened. And listen, he did not play well in games against Buffalo and against Baltimore, Kansas City. I'm not going to say that's not it, but to say all of it is him, to say that he's done, for me to watch this year and say, yes, he's done, I never reached that point with Tom Brady to say that this season he's done. Do I think he should play? Do I think he should play one more year? I thought last year after he won the Super Bowl, he should have retired. You got there. You got 6 Super Bowls, 9 Super Bowl appearances, 13 AFC title game appearances. You've won multiple Super Bowl MVPs. You just won another one. I felt after last year like that was the moment to go out. If you're going to go out like that. Don't try to drag it out like, say, a Peyton Manning or even a Favre or et cetera, right?
Right. Well, listen, this is where I'm going here. So if we're being honest this morning, Tom Brady isn't going to get his storybook ending because he just physically can't do it. He physically can't do it. And that's fine because his career is already the storybook. His career's already that. He's the greatest of all time in most people's eyes. Okay, he doesn't need the ending to be good because in the end, nobody's going to remember it. Nobody's going to remember. They'll remember 9 Super Bowl appearances. They'll remember 6 Super Bowl rings. They'll remember a 20-year dynasty that couldn't be stopped no matter what. And it was the thorn in everybody's side. Think about it. We're all celebrating this week because we're just like, oh, the Patriots dynasty is over. That's how Brady is going to be remembered. That's how he'll be remembered. So my advice to Tom Brady today would be, listen, you're already in steady decline. You took a big step back this year. It's pretty clear-cut. I would say
call it a day. Is the Patriots the only team that's fit for Tom Brady right with him? I think that's it. I think the Patriots are the only team.
I think so, too. I think so, too. I mean, if he were to come back, I don't think he could succeed anywhere else other than New England.
I also look at the fact that what other team is saying, let's take a 42, 43. This is where his age plays into a factor.
Chargers, they got to sell tickets.
You're literally you'll be letting a 37-year-old Phillip Rivers walk for a 42-year-old Tom Brady.
Oh, I know. I
can't see it happening.
I'm not on board with it, but they're opening up a new stadium. They got to sell tickets. That's a way to do it. First year of our new stadium, we're going to bring the greatest of all time in.
That'd be such a cheap move.
Sure it is, but I don't think it's impossible.
But people would go.
I know, and they would go, but for Brady's sake, I hope that's not the case. For the Chargers, that's not the right move for the Chargers.
But you want to talk about weapons. If you go to the Chargers, you got plenty of them.
Is Keenan Allen even going to be there next year? I'm not even 100% convinced he's going to be there next year, Keenan Allen.
Melvin Gordon might not either.
Melvin Gordon either.
Like I said, quarterback, running back, first 2 rounds of the draft. There you go. All right, coming up next, I think that this weekend proved that there's a quarterback that's playing in the NFL that I would take in a late game moment or in a late game drive when I'm down over anybody else in the league. I'll tell you who that is next. It's the Haystack on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. You're listening to the Haystack Show on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Good to have you back, Haystack, Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Mike, Evan, Matt here on a Monday. Good to have you back. All right, so let's get into this. So there are certain players that have it, and it's very particular because there aren't many that do, and some players can just make the play that has to get made without even thinking about it. Deshaun Watson is one of those players. And it's funny that we're talking about Deshaun Watson because Trevor Lawrence is one of those players, too. They both played at Clemson. He will make the Texans very good for a long time. A long time. Okay, Houston had no business winning that football game. Buffalo, that was Buffalo's game from the beginning. They were controlling it from beginning almost to end. And Deshaun Watson said, nah, screw that. I'm gonna take it. Okay, he's the ultimate gamer in the NFL. Okay, to me, there isn't another quarterback in the league that wills their team to wins more than Deshaun Watson. Okay, no, he's not the best quarterback in the NFL. But when a play has to get made at the end of the game, or I need somebody to rise up and bring me back from 2 scores down in the fourth quarter, truthfully, there isn't a player I trust more than Deshaun Watson. I would take him. Okay, and here's the thing. The quality that he possesses, that gamer quality, gets better with experience. Okay, he's already a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. He already has some playoff experience. Okay, his ability to win games because he simply won't let them lose is impeccable. It is. Okay, this has always been his best trait. Watson isn't the most talented quarterback ever. Okay, he isn't a natural thrower. He isn't a pure runner. He's athletic, but he's not overly athletic. Okay, he's good talent-wise, but it's the it factor that pushes him over the edge. Okay, now, I'm not sure they go into Kansas City and beat the Chiefs, but Deshaun gives you a fair shot in that game. He absolutely does. Okay, if you can control the clock and keep Mahomes off the field a little bit, play a little bit of keep away with the Chiefs, then you'll be in good shape. The Texans, I think, could win, but again, some things got to go their way. You've got to play a little bit of keep away. You've got to be able to limit Mahomes a little bit, control the clock, run the football well. Okay, but if I'm a Texans fan today, I'm excited for my future. I really am. Okay, Deshaun Watson is special, and whenever they get the opportunity to pay him big boy money, I back up the Brinks. Okay, he's going to be worth every penny that you'll overpay for him. He will be worth every single penny. Okay, and we made this case also that Watson and the Texans play better whenever they protect him. Not even that happened against Buffalo. Okay, Deshaun Watson got sacked 7 times in that game. 7. Okay, no right tackle. His offensive line was banged up like crazy. He had no Will Fuller. I mean, his offense was decimated, and it didn't matter. Okay, Watson brought them back up. Okay, and I'm not asking for the Texans' offense to be amazing, but if there is a play that needs to be made at the end of the game, that Deshaun Watson's your man. I'm not sure that there's a guy in the league that you can confidently take late in a game more than Deshaun Watson.
Russell Wilson, maybe?
I was going to
Nope.
say Russell. I was going to say Russell.
I would
too.
take Watson over Wilson.
Why?
Late in a game.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I would. There's more gamer to Watson. I would take I'll take Wilson collectively. I would take Wilson over anybody in the league for 4 quarters.
But 2-minute drill, game on the line.
Correct. Watson's my guy.
I think I still got to go Russell Wilson. And also
I know,
to Tom,
but that's
also to
but
Tom
I
Brady,
also
also
hate
to Tom
you.
Brady,
So
but
yes, but I also hate you.
hate you. Great.
All right.
Happy holidays.
Yeah, whatever, Evan, shut up. All right. Anyway, let's go to the news for the first time in a while. Our Big J journalist,
First one of 2020. It feels
Matt
good.
Catarizzolo, here on a Monday. First show in 2020, and it feels good that you're back. I'm really glad. Even though I said something off the air that you want to
We're not
punch me in the sack
we're
for.
not gonna talk about that right now. Stop that. Stop it. I'm not gonna get into it.
Well, listen, I didn't think Uncut Gems was that good.
You said it on the air, and now you've opened up. You've started this now.
I've opened up the bag of
I'll
worms.
abandon all my news and talk to you about this for the rest of the show.
No, that's not true.
I
don't care.
Listen, I'm going to pull a Bill Belichick on you. Do your job.
Proves how out of the loop I am. I thought it was a Saquon Barkley discussion. I had no idea you saw Uncut Gems.
No. Anyway.
Even though I did think Star Wars was great.
I thought Rise Skywalker
Star Wars was great.
I had fun with Rise Skywalker.
All right, go ahead, Matt. I'm sorry.
Everything you're saying is hurting my ears. So, all right, we talked about Brady and his uncertain future after first-round elimination wildcard weekend to the Tennessee Titans. So this is from Jay Glazer and says that Tom Brady will not, as he has done many times in the past, give the Patriots a hometown discount if he resigns.
Yeah, well, he's taken hometown discounts
for years
his
now.
entire career.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, he does. I mean, let's not say that doesn't mean he's made a lot of money. Like Tom Brady over the course of his career has made over $212 million. Okay, him and Giselle are a combined they have a net worth of $580 million combined.
It's a lot of money.
Like, they're worth a lot of money. But Brady's thinking to himself, yeah, if I'm going to keep playing, because he understands. I think even Brady gets, all right, I don't have a lot of time left in the league. I'm going to cash in as much as I can cash in.
Oh, yeah.
So if he's going to make over 30, if he has the opportunity to make over $30 million, then yeah, he's going to do that. But here's the thing. I think the Patriots will do it. Like, Robert Kraft loves him so much. I think he's going to pay Tom Brady record-setting money. Record-setting money.
At 42?
Yes. For another year or two, he's going to break the bank.
What is breaking the bank for another year or two?
$37 million a year.
How much did Rivers get paid? How much will Rivers get paid at 37?
Rivers is not going to be expensive. Like, I would be shocked if Rivers got more than like 22. I really am. Like, Rivers, in the year that he was going to hit free agency, had one of his worst seasons as a pro. So Phillip Rivers might have some stuff left in the tank, but we don't know that because he was absolutely awful this year. I mean, there were 3 guys in the NFL that threw more than 20 interceptions. Jameis Winston, Baker Mayfield, and Phillip Rivers. Not great company.
It's crazy. He's an MVP candidate last year.
Rivers made $20 million in that contract, his previous contract.
I can't see him. I'd be shocked if he made more than that. This is going to sound crazy. I think Teddy Bridgewater has a shot at making more money than Phillip Rivers does. I do.
I see that happening.
Teddy Bridgewater, whether it's by the Saints, whether it's from anybody else, Chicago, Carolina, whoever, they will pay Teddy Bridgewater more money than what they would offer to Phillip Rivers. But here's the thing, as far as Brady's concerned, reverting back to it, Brady, you heard me before. I think Brady's best move is to retire. If he wants to come back to play for New England for one more year, take one more shot at it, whatever, I'm not going to criticize him for it. But of course he's not going to take a hometown discount. And truthfully, he probably shouldn't. I mean, he's taken it his entire career. If he's going back for one more year, he's got to tell Bob Kraft, okay, if you want me to come back, give me $36 million, and I'll come back and make one more run at it. Even though that wouldn't be the smartest decision, because this is the point of his career where they got to surround him with more help to make up for his deficiencies. And if they're paying him that much money, they won't be able to do that.
And if you really look at the Patriots situation, why again they're the best spot for him? Who's their backup? Jared Stidham. There's no. I mean,
I'm going to tell you this, Evan. I'm going to spoil one of my bold predictions.
Spoiler alert.
For Bold Prediction Monday. I think the Patriots draft a quarterback in the first round.
No, that wouldn't surprise me. But
I think they
that
will.
Wouldn't surprise me. But
and there's one guy who I think is a perfect fit for New England coming out of college this year. Perfect.
All right.
And it's not either one of the top 3. It's not Burrow. It's not Tua. It's not Justin Herbert.
But if it's,
I thought you would say Herbert.
But if it's one of those guys, I think they're going to refer to. They might need a year or two. They might need a year to develop.
Can I guess?
They might.
Can I guess?
Again,
Go ahead.
Jordan Love.
No.
Jacob East. I don't want to say it. I want to say it for the segment.
Yeah, no, yeah, say it.
All right, I'll save it for the bold predictions. But there's one guy in that class that fits perfectly.
If it's one of those quarterbacks I think you're referring to, he probably needs about a year to develop.
You're probably
Tom Brady.
No, you're probably
Tom
right. So
Brady.
Brady can serve as a bridge at that point, but
that you can still win with.
well, yeah. I mean, listen, I don't think Brady's capable of winning a Super Bowl anymore. I don't think he's capable of being responsible for a Super Bowl. Like, if they surround him with a historic defense, they give him great weapons, they solidify an offensive line, they stabilize a running game. Yeah, Brady can win, but Brady is not going to be the reason the Patriots win anymore. Okay, this is not going to be like it was 5 years ago when Brady's going to have a passer rating that's over 120 and he's not going to make any mistakes late down the stretch. I mean, we saw last year, okay, if D Ford wasn't lined up 2 inches off sides, Brady threw the game-ending pick. It was his third interception of the game. Like, we saw it kind of last year that Brady was going a little bit downhill. Now we really saw the step down. So, we'll see. All right, what's next?
All right, so after a wild card, I was going to say wild card weekend. That's funny.
wild card weekend.
Yeah, that's weird. Whatever. My brain just Control-Alt-Deleted for a second. All right, so after wild card weekend, the divisional round is now finally set. We got Vikings at 49ers. Titans.
That's going to be a great football game.
You think so?
Oh my God.
Titans at Ravens, which I think is going to be closer than a lot of people think.
I think it will be too.
It'll be close in the first half.
Texans at Chiefs, and then my pick, my game of the weekend is Seahawks Packers.
Seahawks and Packers. Okay, so here's where I want to go, because I think that, like, your game of the week is Packers Seahawks.
Absolutely.
I think the Packers are the happiest team in football history today. Like, maybe not the happiest team in football history, but they are ecstatic today.
Why?
They're not excited to play Russell Wilson, but they're excited to play the Seahawks that are banged up and barely got by the Seahawks with a backup quarterback for 2.5 quarters. I mean, listen, the Packers are healthy. They run the football well. They have Aaron Rodgers. They have a defense that can get after Russell Wilson.
If there's one thing Seattle has, though, is that road mentality and that road toughness. They
have Russell Wilson. So
Russell Wilson.
This is something that I'm not going to rule out for the Seahawks.
And Pete Carroll against a first-year head coach. But, hey.
Understood. But if we're talking about availability and we're talking about talent, Green Bay has the clear edge. And think about that. I'll be honest with you. I'm not by any means in love with Green Bay. I think Green Bay has a lot of issues. But Seattle is so hurt that they can't do the things that they were able to. Like, this is a team that is built, as good as Russell Wilson is, they're built on running the football. Their 3 best running backs are all hurt.
Right.
Okay, they're working with Travis Homer is their every down back. Am I going to be able to trust Travis Homer more than Aaron Rodgers? Like, that's my.
I think it's going to come down to Niners, Packers, Ravens, Chiefs. That's going to be the Final Four, because
I think you're probably right.
Because the Vikings are not. Kirk Cousins is not. The Saints have a weird thing these past three postseason eliminations where, people can argue it's unfair, it's whatever, but look, they lost those games. They were in position to lose those games. If Will Lutz made that field goal, they would have won that game. I'm talking about earlier in the game.
Yeah.
If Will Lutz made that field goal, they would have never been in the position that they were in. You know what I'm saying? To even go to overtime.
Right.
So, no, they lost those games. So I'm not saying the Vikings got lucky, but
I mean, the Vikings 100% deserve to win that football game.
They played a better game overall.
Yeah.
Cook had a great game.
Kirk played better than Drew Brees.
Cousins had a great game. By the way, Thielen was burning Marshawn Lattimore. And
yeah.
Marcus Williams might be the most unclutch safety in football. Think about it. Like, okay, so he gave up coverage on Stephon Diggs on the Minneapolis Miracle. And when Thielen made that catch to set him up, that was him. That kind of. Did you see? Like, he kind of gave up. I don't know if you know what play I'm talking about.
I didn't see the play.
The
No.
play with Thielen to set him up.
But he gave up on a play.
Exactly. Yeah.
At the 2-yard line in overtime.
Exactly. And so they lost those games. But the Niners' defense is not like the Saints' defense. It's a lot better. And I think I don't think we're gonna see another game like that.
Well, here's the thing. Like this, the Niners are happy too, because they're dealing with, and now they've got, all right, so they got Minnesota. Kirk Cousins struggles in big games, right? Even though I hand it to Kirk Cousins played very well in possibly one of the biggest, if not the biggest game of his career. Played very well in that game. So, but the Niners get the Vikings, and then they're going to get the winner of Packers and Seahawks, who both have serious problems right now. I mean, the biggest threat to the Niners in the NFC was probably New Orleans, and Minnesota took care of them. The Niners are pretty happy right now, too.
That Saints-Niners game in the regular season was probably the game of the year, right? I forgot who won, but it was like 46-43?
48-46.
Something like that,
in New Orleans, and San Francisco won.
Yeah.
On a game-winning field goal. That was the game of the year.
That would have been great.
That was the game of the year.
We knew Minnesota going into the postseason was one of the more talented teams in the NFC. It was more.
They're one of the most talented teams in the NFL. I mean, that roster.
It was more so
Minnesota's roster is loaded,
top to bottom. Yeah,
that's what that game showed me.
It was more so Kirk Cousins doing. And hey, for a week against New Orleans, he did.
All right. Well, Minnesota proved that if you can't see the talent showing on Minnesota, I can't help you. Minnesota's talent is through the roof. They have everything. I mean, could they get better on the offensive line? Yes. Do I think they could use another receiver or two? Yes. But, I mean, their talent's loaded, and they're probably going to draft a corner early because they're unsure about Xavier Rhodes, and the depth beyond that is pretty okay. But it's not.
There was a hit. Xavier Rhodes took a hit from Kamara. I could have sworn he broke his clavicle. When you saw, it was literally right to Kamara's chest. Xavier Rhodes got up and he was grabbing his shoulder. I could have swore he broke his clavicle. It was exactly like it.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. That front seven for Minnesota, we're talking about front sevens a lot. That's a nasty one. And they're going, San Francisco's a nasty one too. But if you think about it, the defensive line for the Niners, Bosa, Armstead, Buckner, and D Ford, and then Solomon Thomas, and then Fred Warner and Quan Alexander at linebacker. You look at Minnesota, Shamar Stephen, Everson Griffin, Daniil Hunter, Linval Joseph, and then linebackers, I got Anthony Barr and Eric Kendricks. That's nasty too. Those are. There's going to be a physical, really good football game.
Both can run the football.
And both can run the football.
Right.
And both are well coached.
Both can run the football, but Minnesota's is more dependent than San Francisco's is. Minnesota's more dependent on coach. San Francisco has Tevin Coleman, Breida, Raheem Mostert, yeah. So they're not as dependent. They're more
San Francisco's the second best running team in the league.
Right.
Okay, the only team that's better is
Baltimore.
Right.
But I'm just saying, San Francisco's not as one-dimensional. They have Madison Johnson too. So I mean, but again, it's not like they're as predictable, I guess is the word I'm trying to use. All right, but last off, this is an interesting little statistic from the weekend.
Yeah.
So the Eagles failed to score 10 points just twice this season. Both of them were in home losses to Seattle.
Right.
Wow.
I know. But just watching the game yesterday when they had... So, okay. Let's look at the players that they didn't have. No Aguilar, no Alshon Jeffrey.
No Deshaun Jackson.
No Deshaun Jackson. No Lane Johnson.
No Wentz.
Okay. And then Wentz goes down. Miles Sanders was hurt briefly. I think it was right before halftime.
No Jordan Howard.
I mean, the fact that they...
Zach Ertz was playing with a lacerated kidney.
Right. The fact that they only lost that game by, 8 points.
That's something that kind of gets lost in this argument, is that Philadelphia, with as hurt as they've been, as decimated as that roster has been, and truthfully, as bad as that defense has been, I mean, they played incredibly well down the stretch.
Listen, you had Russell Wilson, DK Metcalf, Marshawn Lynch, Tyler Lockett against Josh McCown, Greg Ward, and J.J. Arcega-Whiteside.
Listen, if it weren't for a late hit from Jadeveon Clowney that absolutely should have been a penalty on Carson Wentz, and Carson Wentz is playing for the rest of that game, Philadelphia could very easily have won that football game.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you're an Eagles fan today, I get you're gonna be disappointed because you're not moving on in the playoffs, but God, I feel good about what I got. I feel really good. If I'm even a lick more healthy next year, and I have Carson Wentz back, I've got Doug Peterson, I can run the football. Miles Sanders has another year under his belt. I've got arguably the best tight end in football. If I'm an Eagles fan, I am loving what I have.
You don't think they could use?
They could use some defensive players.
They could use some better. I think they could use some better receivers.
Well, I mean, are we saying that they could use receivers because they actually need receivers, or are we saying they need receivers because all of their receivers got hurt?
Both. Like Jeffrey's getting older, Deshaun Jackson's getting older. They need new, young blood.
Yeah, they could probably use them.
I would love to see. It's not going to happen because they're gonna both go in the top. They could very easily both go in the top 10. But I would love to see. Well, I wouldn't love to see it because I'm a Giant fan. But I think that would be a very good fit to see like either CeeDee Lamb or Jerry Jeudy go to Philadelphia.
Justin Jefferson.
It's not going to happen.
Guys like Justin Jefferson. I mean, guys like Justin Jefferson and Laviska Shenault and guys like that are probably going to be easier fits there. But even that, I mean, Philadelphia to me isn't in dire need of a receiver if everybody's healthy. Because all those guys can still play. I mean, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside then becomes your fifth receiver.
Okay, it's probably what he is.
That's at this point in his career he is, yeah. But J.J. Arcega-Whiteside's a second-round pick. You know what I mean? So it's not like he's bad. I mean, he's got talent.
Speaking of the draft, we have breaking news. Tua Tagovailoa will indeed enter the draft. It is official.
There you go.
He will indeed enter the draft.
See? There you go. That's a great decision by him. That is a great decision. All right, we'll dive into that a little bit more coming up. All right, that's the news with our Big J journalist, Matt Catarazzolo, here on a Monday.
I mean, I could see him going from any range of Miami to a team that maybe needs one to develop on, let's say a Pittsburgh or a New England or whatever. Maybe they decide to sit him for a year and rest that hip injury.
An absolutely phenomenal move by Tua. That's a great, smart move. Really, really smart. All right. Coming up next, we'll dive into Tua plus its rapid-fire recap today. That should be pretty quick, rapid-fire recap. We only got 4 games. It's going to be pretty easy.
I mean, we could recap Week 17.
No, we're not going to recap Week 17.
Cowboys, Redskins, Cowboys, Washington. The last Cowboys win of Jason Garrett's NFL career.
Correct.
Cowboys career.
All right, that's coming up next. Hour 2 coming up. Haystack Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Worldwide Sports Radio presents the Haystack Show with Mike Guido.
All right, here we go. Hour number 2. It's the Haystack and the Worldwide Sports Radio Network, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, WorldwideSportsRadio.com. Mike Guido, Evan Mazza, Matt Catarazzolo, Big J journalist. Good to have you in on a Monday. Happy 2020. All right, so it's Monday. So every single Monday, we do this thing called Rapid Fire Recap. I have 30 seconds to recap every NFL game. Here we go.
Let's do it. So to start off, let's go to the first game on Saturday. Great football game. The Texans beat the Bills 22-19 in overtime. Go.
Well, I said this earlier. I think that Deshaun Watson is the ultimate gamer in the NFL. So this is a game. This was a game with great NFL futures. I'm not sure great NFL presence, but even if you're Buffalo, you controlled the game for 3.5 quarters. You were able to hold Deshaun Watson for most of the game. You ran the football well. Your young talent is showing. You have a great top 2 or 3 defense. And Josh Allen, his ability is that this is a good quarterback. Josh Allen's a franchise quarterback. So if I'm the Bills and I'm the Texans, I feel great about my future after this one.
All right, game 2 on Saturday. The Titans upset the Patriots 20-13. Go.
May the world rejoice. The Patriots dynasty is over, and it got ended by Ryan Tannehill, who threw for 72 yards on the game.
Go.
Listen, if you don't think that the Patriots dynasty is over, I can't help you. If you don't think that Brady is digressing at a massive rate, I can't help you. I'm not sure this game said a lot about Tennessee other than their game plan against New England was perfect. But the New England Patriots, the big story, the dynasty is over, and Brady might have played his last game in New England.
Watch this stop. On the Sunday, game 1, Vikings over the Saints 26-20 in overtime. Another overtime one. Go.
Hate to break it to people, but the Vikings deserve to win this game. They did. They played the better game. Drew Brees, there was no question that he was accurate. But the offensive line for New Orleans got dominated all game. Minnesota altogether just played a better game. They went on the road and beat New Orleans in the Superdome, which is incredibly hard to do. They limited Alvin Kamara. New Orleans couldn't run the football. Minnesota played a better game. They deserve to win it.
All right, in the wild card finale, the Seahawks defeated the Eagles 17-9. Go.
All right, listen. If I'm Seattle, I feel a little uncomfortable. I know I'm playing Green Bay, who also has problems, but you barely got past the Eagles, and they didn't have Carson Wentz for half the game, or more than half the game. If I'm Seattle, I don't really feel comfortable. Actually, if I'm an Eagles fan today, I feel a lot better with where I am. I've got a ton of talent going into next year. If I wasn't so hurt, this was a team that could have made a pretty deep run, in my opinion. Carson Wentz is a superstar quarterback.
Stop.
All right. That was the only one I had trouble with. Seahawks and Eagles. So there we go. See, that segment goes by quick when there's not a lot of games.
Yeah, right. That's going to get more and more because we only got 4 games next week and we got 2 games the following week.
So, but listen, I thought this was a wildly entertaining weekend. Really, really good. 2 overtime games. Titans-Patriots was great. Seahawks and Eagles. The Seahawks and Eagles was a good game. That was probably the most boring game out of all of them. But that was only because Carson Wentz got hurt. If Carson Wentz didn't get hurt, that would have been another really exciting one. So, by the way, I do want to say this. For my picks for Wild Card weekend, I'm not going to lie to you. I went 1-3.
Same.
Yikes.
I went 1-3. I had Buffalo over Houston. I had New England over Tennessee. I had New Orleans over Minnesota, and then I had Seattle over Philly.
Pretty much, right here.
Those were the only games that Seattle over Philly was the only game I got right.
Pretty much.
So, crazy. But I was not good. I was not good this weekend in picks. All right. So there we go. That's Rapid Fire Recap. Do that every single Monday. Boy, oh boy. All right. So here's the news that just got broken. Tua Tagovailoa is declaring for the NFL draft. I think it is a brilliant move. I think it's the move that he absolutely had to make. I still think Tua has the opportunity to go top 5. Okay, think about this. Tua suffered a really serious injury. He hurt his hip. Okay, he's in the middle of his rehab and all of that stuff. I'm sure he's going to come back at some point in the middle of this year. But here's my thing with this. I think that he's taking a lot more risk if he's taking a lot more risk if he goes back to Alabama than if he goes straight to the NFL draft. Like I said, I think his ceiling right now, I think his ceiling is top 5. I think he could easily still go in the first round of this draft and early. Going back to Alabama would have, if he gets hurt again, if he digresses because of the injury, he has to reach on his stock now. Tua absolutely has to go in for his stock. He's got to sell high. Tua made the right decision. All right, this is a really good move and a really smart move by Tua. And I was really surprised because here's the thing. I was surprised that when it got announced that Tua was going to have his press conference and Nick Saban was also going to be at the press conference, I'm like, that he's going to go back to Alabama. Saban sold him. Because Nick Saban does that. Nick Saban is a really good salesman to players that want to go back to Alabama, to players that want to go get recruited to Alabama.
It's a master recruiter.
A master recruiter. I mean, he's got a serious ability to recruit guys and sell guys on the idea of playing for Alabama. But I think it's a great move by Tua. All right. Evan, who do we have on the phone?
We have your buddy Kieran. We have your buddy Kieran on the line. How you doing, man?
Oh, boy.
What's going on?
So you never call my show unless you disagree with me. So what's going on?
No, I don't disagree with you on anything. I'm just the whole Tua thing. Like, I don't even know where I stand on it. You know.
So what are you thinking right now? What's going through your mind?
Well, obviously, I agree with you in the fact that it's a smart decision for him to go to the league now while his draft stock is high. He's going to be a top 10 pick. That's almost set in stone, I would say, right?
Well, yeah, if NFL teams think that he is special enough, right? Because people, the evaluation before he got hurt was that he was a special he was a special you can't miss quarterback prospect. If they still think that he's that, then teams I think will still draft him high regardless of the injury.
The thing with me though is I agree with on Tua's side of things. Good decision to go to the NFL, get paid, get your money, and start your future as an NFL quarterback. But do you think that he's ready, not mentally, but like physically? Do you think that he has the credentials to be like that can't miss guy?
Yeah, I think he can. Like, here's my thing: as I've always thought that Tua was a little overvalued. When people said special, I didn't buy special, but I did buy really good. I think he could be a really good NFL quarterback, but I don't see special with him. But
I don't either.
I'm not sure that would have changed if he had gone back to Alabama, though, either. You know, I think all it would have done is lowered his draft stock if he played poorly or if he got hurt again. So I think you and I are in agreement. I think this was the right move.
I'd say so, yeah. And I also think if he were to go back, he would then be coming out next year with Lawrence, and he definitely would have no shot.
He'd probably be the third quarterback taken.
Yeah.
Because you'd have Lawrence and you'd have Fields that would both probably be drafted ahead of him.
This draft, he could be the second guy taken, but at this point, it's probably between him and Herbert, right? Be the second guy on the board.
Probably, yeah. So what I've heard is that Burrow is going to go number one. Like that isn't a question. Joe Burrow is going to be the number one overall pick. But I've also heard that there hasn't been a team that has done more work on Justin Herbert than the Miami Dolphins. Like, the Miami Dolphins have scouted Justin Herbert through the roof. So it wouldn't surprise me if Tua was the third quarterback taken, even though Miami and Tua, they feel like they fit together. They just do. They feel like they're a good fit. Plus, again, if Miami has bridge guys. Even if it's Josh Rosen, they've got bridge guys to play over Tua if he needs the help. If Tua goes to the Chargers, Tua might have to play right away because Rivers is gone. They're not going to have Tyrod Taylor. Like, they're going to force Tua to play.
Yeah, that makes sense. But what? Speaking of Herbert, what do you think about him in the Rose Bowl? He was good with his legs, but he couldn't throw on that defense at all. And Big Ten defense, that's a more legit, definitely more NFL-ish defense than the Pac-12. So, do you think that his bad performance? It was not a good performance. I cannot believe that Oregon. I even tweeted it. I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah.
In the beginning of the game, they had the fumble and they scored, the huge run they scored. And I turned the game off at halftime. I'm like, Wisconsin win this game by 100. And then I got the notification on my phone that it won. I was like, how on earth did Oregon win that?
Well, Justin Herbert played really well late. He made a lot of plays at the end of the game that mattered a lot in that win. Here's the thing about Herbert is that you're right that he struggles against the top-tier competition, but at the very same time, he's still a player that is pretty raw. His biggest attribute is his size and his athleticism. I think he's got a really great arm. He's one of those kids that you're going to develop and you're going to be really happy with. Like I think Justin Herbert's going to be really good. I really do. Like,
if that's how you see him with his size and his athleticism, do you see him as someone who's similar to like a Josh Allen from a couple of years ago?
No, because I think he's Justin Herbert's a better thrower than Josh Allen and not as good of a runner. Like, Josh Allen's a special runner, but Herbert's way more accurate and he's got similar arm strength. So I think Herbert and Josh Allen are pretty different. Herbert to me is very. He's a taller Carson Wentz to me. Like, I think he's that good.
Wow.
I really do. I think he's that good. Now, let me ask you this: who's your QB1? Who do you like the most?
Out of the two of them, or out of the three of them?
Out of everybody. Out of everybody.
Burrow.
You do think it's Burrow?
I've been saying this to many people. I mean, I'm only 21 years old, so I've been watching college football, like, seriously for, like, 10 years at most.
Yeah.
Some of the throws that he makes, it's almost like he's just walking to the receiver and just dropping it in their hands. When he throws the ball, if the receivers break stride, that's a terrible throw by Burrow. Every time he throws to him, it's right in stride, right over the shoulder, just right where he needs to be, right on top. I personally, in 10 years of watching college football, I've never seen any quarterback do the stuff that Herbert. I think Herbert is going to be special, and if something happens and with the combine, because the draft is still over 3 months away, but if something happens and the Bengals don't take Joe Burrow, everyone should be fired. Everyone.
Literally everybody should be fired. No, I agree with you. I think Joe Burrow is going to be a special player. I really do. He's as accurate as I've ever seen. He's having the best season I've ever seen a college player have. I mean, Joe Burrow is just destroying things. You like him better than Lawrence? Because I love Burrow, but I'm not sure I like him as a prospect more than Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is special.
As a prospect, I don't know, because I think that in their respective rookie years, so it'll be Burrow in this year and Lawrence next year, I think Lawrence is going to end up having the better rookie year, just because we saw Burrow when he transferred from Ohio State and started LSU his first year. Like, people forget that he started for LSU last year and wasn't that good.
Right.
Like, he wasn't that good when he started for them last year. So I think just like it took him a little while to adjust from the college life from the Big Ten life to the SEC life and adjusting to the starting quarterback, the same thing's going to happen in the NFL. He's not going to be that good as rookie year. That's something I firmly agree. I strongly believe. But I think you're going to see one of the biggest jumps from years 1 to 2 or 2 to 3. Like, he's going to just progressively get better. Lawrence, I feel like, is going to come out with more of a bang and be a better quarterback to start with, but his ceiling isn't as high as Burrow's in my mind.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see. I think, like I said, I think the quarterbacks for the next couple of years are going to be incredibly good, and I agree with you. I think Tua coming out in the draft this year was the smart decision. All right. Karen, thanks for calling in, bud. It's good to talk to you.
You too, man. See you later.
All right. So coming up next, supposed to have Ray Anzelowitz, but he got called into a meeting at work, so we'll figure out something else. We'll go to the news. We'll do everything like that coming up next on the Haystack and the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. You're listening to the Haystack Show on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Good to have you back. Haystack, Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Mike, Evan, Matt, here on a Monday. Plenty of stuff. We are loaded today. A lot of stuff going on. Mike McCarthy gets hired by the Dallas Cowboys as their new head coach. Tua Tagovailoa enters the NFL draft. That's news now. That is fact. Tua is now going into the NFL draft. I think it's a great decision by him. And again, a lot of moving parts in today's show. So make sure you don't tune out. All right, let's go to the news with our Big J journalist, Matt Catarazzolo, here on a Monday.
So with the hire of McCarthy now, who I thought was actually the favorite to win the Giants head coaching job, it leaves more room for speculation that Baylor head coach Matt Rule is now the overwhelming favorite to win the Giants head coaching job.
Yeah.
So this is their head coaching interview schedule going forward. So today they're interviewing Patriots special team coach Joe Judge. Then tomorrow is Matt Rule, and then Wednesday is actually still Patriots OC Josh McDaniels. So
I think they've already interviewed Eric Bieniemy, right?
They've interviewed Eric Bieniemy. They interviewed Mike McCarthy and Wink Martindale. So now going forward, the head coach vacancies in the NFL are now the Giants, the Browns, and the Panthers. So today, actually, the Browns met with 49ers defensive coordinator Robert Saleh.
Right.
Saleh, and they said the interview went very well. Jimmy Haslam was there. But now the favorites to win that job are still Kevin Stefanski and
Josh McDaniels,
McDaniels. So that was weird. So
right.
I still say, all right. So this is from Jordan Rannon of The Athletic. Matt Rule wants to be the Giants head coach. The Giants want Matt Rule to be the head coach. So it appears that they're on a collision course.
And Baylor's bowl game is over. So.
Right, and Baylor's bowl game is over. Matt Rule is back in Cabo. Everything is good to go. So I saw something that said that if he's not signed by the middle of the week, something has gone very wrong with the Giants' replacement plan.
Middle of this week?
The middle of this
week,
yeah.
Well, hey, listen, I said this to you before. Matt Rule is such a good coach in college. He's a great fit for the New York Giants.
I hope
Matt
it
Rule
translates.
is a great fit for the New York Giants. He is. Okay, he's good with young quarterbacks. He's great with. I mean, the Giants roster is getting more youthful. They're getting very young.
They are very young.
Young players love Matt Rule. They love the way he coaches. They love the culture he brings. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. Matt Rule to the Giants makes a ton of sense. A ton. And here's the thing. Like, as far like the Giants, I think have done this very well. They've interviewed everybody. Eric Bieniemy, Josh McDaniels, Matt Rule. They've interviewed Mike McCarthy. Like they interviewed everybody.
The thing with
or they're going to interview everybody.
right. The thing with all these head coaches.
Who are they meeting with today again? Did you say they were
Joe Judge?
Joe
is today.
Judge. Right, exactly. Okay.
Joe Judge is today. Tomorrow is Rule, and then Wednesday is McDaniels. And I think that I was really excited for a lot of these because a lot of these names are exciting.
Yeah.
I think a lot of these names are really exciting. Like listen, Shermer. When Shermer was hired, I was still riding high off the fact that they got rid of McAdoo. Because again, I was part of the pitchforks and torches for McAdoo after
when Ben McAdoo got fired, Giants fans were throwing a parade.
So when Shermer got hired, we're like, all right, it's a situation where we're like, all right, fine, you know what? Anyone is better than this guy. I'm not so positive I feel that way now. Because, listen, when Shermer was hired, I'm like, all right, you know what? Listen, he did really good work with Case Keenum. You know, that Vikings team was really good for like 2 or 3 years. And, now he's going to come to us. We have a great offensive arsenal. I think this could be really good. And he wins 9 games in 2 years. So now I'm almost like, okay, it's like after a bad breakup, it's like I'm not ready to be hurt again. Like you want them to get it right.
Right.
And do you trust Gettleman to do that?
Well, I don't know. But I don't really have a choice. Here's Dave Gettleman has had success in the league. Like, it's not like he hasn't. When he was in Carolina, I mean, he made a Super Bowl appearance in Carolina. Like, it isn't like Dave Gettleman is completely inept at his job. He's inept at sounding like he can't handle. Like, Dave Gettleman is not a great communicator. He doesn't portray himself to sound smart.
He's not very in tune with the modern NFL climate.
Correct. So, but here's the thing. Like, Pat Shurmur, and Evan and I discussed this, Pat Shurmur had to go. Pat Shurmur could not have taken, I get the Giants aren't good, but Pat Shurmur was really underwhelming. And there are just some guys that aren't head coaches. Pat Shurmur is a really good offensive coordinator, not a head coach.
Pat Shurmur's another guy that's a good it's a great coordinator, but does not fit as a head coach. There are some guys that are just good coordinators that are not good at head coach.
Right.
Who are we just talking about before, Evan? Good coordinator, not a good head coach.
Wink Martindale, Greg Roman.
No, literally the guy that you said.
Josh McDaniels.
Okay. Josh McDaniels, great coordinator, does not belong in a head coaching position. And that's fine. That's fine.
It is fine.
Not everybody can be a head coach in the NFL. It's a very hard job. Coordinators sometimes are just specialized positions. Like, do you think right now, I think Eric Bieniemy is a very good coordinator, but he doesn't call plays. Andy Reid is the primary play caller for that Kansas City offense. So I
think you're taking a risk with Bieniemy, but
Bieniemy is somebody who can really I feel like somebody who can really unleash an offense, which is why I think he would be great with like McCaffrey, and if they draft a quarterback in Carolina.
Well, I think Bieniemy's a great fit for Carolina. That's the job that's kind of going under the radar, right? It was primarily focused on the Cowboy job,
right,
and then the Giants job and the Browns job. Those are eating up everything. The Panthers job is getting very little traffic.
Right, and the Browns job now, the Browns at the beginning, the Browns went through the most tumultuous and dynamic season we've seen in a long time. Beginning of the year, there was all this hype. Baker, Odell, Jarvis, Chubb, whatever. Everything goes south. Then the Steelers game happens. Then the kitchen's firing. And then there's Odell telling teams to come get me. Then there's Jarvis telling teams to come get me. Then there's Chubb getting the rushing title. Then Chubb loses the rushing title. There are so many things. And then Dorsey gets fired. Kitchens gets fired.
And
now we're starting to see who it really, because the Browns job used to be just a carousel of coaches. Now it's like, okay,
right,
wow, this is a team that people actually might want to coach.
And Jimmy Haslam apparently wants to hire the coach first and then hire the GM, which I don't like that at all. I'm not really usually a fan of that
because the GM should have a say in who is the head coach.
Exactly.
But all I'm saying is now that the Cowboys' job is taken care of, what is the most attractive position for a head coach opening? You could make an argument. I think it's honestly the Giants. Because think about it.
The most attractive job left, I think is clearly the Giants.
$70 million in cap, a young core of Barkley and Jones, a number 4 overall pick.
I think the Giants I think the Giants' job is a good job. That's a good job to get.
I think so too.
I think the Browns' job.
A lot of pressure.
Well, it's a lot of pressure and it's a lot of dysfunction that you're walking into. That's a really dangerous job. And then Carolina's not a bad job, but you've got a lot of work to do in Carolina. The Giants, I think, are closer than the Panthers are. I really do. The Panthers have to rethink quarterback. They've got to rebuild an O-line. They've got to fix their secondary. There's a lot of pieces that got to move in Carolina.
And we have a franchise quarterback. That's a very big hole.
Right now, Daniel Jones looks like he's your future.
That's a very big hole that you need to fill.
Right, exactly. So you don't even have to worry about quarterback. You can just worry about building the roster around you.
Build around him.
I'm with you on that. All right, what's next?
You know what's weird about Pat Shermer? One very interesting statistic. 2 years each with the Browns and Giants. 9-23.
9-23. I saw that.
That's crazy.
I know. That's insane. All right, so this is from Jay Glazer. I just lied to your face. It's not from Jay Glazer. It's from Peter King. Sorry. It's from Peter King. So Robert Kraft said this about Tom Brady earlier today. My hope and prayer is that is number 1, he plays for the Patriots, or number 2, he retires.
Well, like I said, Robert Kraft doesn't want to see him play for anybody else. He doesn't want to see him play for anybody else. Bob Kraft loves Brady like a son. He's not going to let him go. Bob Kraft is going to spill money at Tom Brady to make sure he stays. And if he turns down the money, that means he's just going to retire. He's going to make sure, listen, we are not going to let you leave New England. It is either going to play with us or you're going to retire. Because Bob Kraft doesn't want to go see him play for the Chargers. He doesn't want to go see him play for the Indianapolis Colts. He wants to see Brady finish his career in New England. So he's going to dump bags of money onto him. I don't know. We'll see. Finally?
But why? Why would if?
Oh, I don't know why. Because Kraft loves him. I don't think it's a great move, but I think that's what's going to happen. I think that's what's going to happen.
I mean, all right, we'll see. All right, so we talked about it before earlier. About an hour ago, actually, Tua Tagovailoa has chosen not to return to Alabama and actually declare for the 2020 NFL Draft.
Yeah.
Now, this is
smart
interesting.
Move.
Really smart. Very smart move on his part. But what team? I'm not going to say what team is the best fit, but in terms of trading up for picks, there are 3 teams, at least in this draft, that are going to take a quarterback, okay? And I'm talking about after Burrow. So Cincinnati at Burrow is number 1. It's a lock. It's going to happen.
Right. Miami.
Miami, San Diego.
The Chargers,
Miami,
right.
The Chargers, the Panthers.
Panthers might not take a quarterback this year.
You don't think?
No, I really don't.
Oh, you think tank for Trevor?
Yeah.
But if a guy's on the board, he's on the board, I guess.
Right.
Okay, if Tua is there, then yeah, Carolina will take him. But I think the 3 best quarterbacks in the draft are all going to be gone before Carolina picks.
So that's my question. So you take Burrow at 1.
Burrow's going to be gone.
Burrow at 1. Washington doesn't need a quarterback.
Washington has Dwayne Haskins. They're not going to draft a quarterback.
Detroit doesn't need a quarterback. Giants don't need a quarterback. So assuming that Burrow is the first quarterback, well, not assuming Burrow's. Well,
I think it's pretty clear cut. Burrow goes to Cincinnati.
Chase Young goes to Washington.
Chase Young will go to Washington. Detroit and the Giants will pick 2 players that aren't quarterbacks, whether it's Isaiah Simmons or Jeff Okuda or Andrew Thomas or Jerry Jeudy or somebody along those lines. Derek Brown can get into that conversation also.
Uh-huh.
Tua goes to Miami.
Right.
And then the Chargers take Herbert. And there you go. That's it.
No trading up?
I don't think so. Unless...
What about Jacksonville?
The only thing that I can see is the Chargers trading in front of Miami to take Herbert ahead of Miami.
What about
Jacksonville's going to roll with Minshew. They're not going to trade up. Jacksonville's going to roll with Minshew.
And they have Nick Foles under contract for $22 million a year.
Right, so no.
Yeah, Jacksonville's not going to take it. And from everything I've heard is Jacksonville is going to go heavy defense. they are gonna they might use both of their first round picks on defensive players.
Well, Yannick Ngakoue is a free agent this year. They lost Ramsey.
And their defense late in the year was struggling.
Yeah, they lost Ramsey.
So, yeah, they're going to use one of these first-round picks on a corner because they got to use that first-round pick to replace Ramsey.
And you can't say Pittsburgh because they don't have a first-round draft pick.
Mm-hmm.
Right, exactly. So, we'll see. But, Carolina's not going to get – I don't think Carolina's going to get the opportunity to take a quarterback unless it's later. Maybe they take Jordan Love in the second round or something like that. But I don't know. I think the best move for them would be go into next year, possibly be bad next year and try to find your quarterback in the following year.
Well, we can't even say Chicago because they don't have a first-round pick either.
Well, right. Chicago doesn't have one and Pittsburgh doesn't have one. So, they could take one in later rounds. That's the thing is
sure.
Jacob Eason and Jordan Love and Jake Fromm could, all Jalen Hurts, they could all be available in the second, third round, and they could take them there. But Herbert, Tua, and Burrow are all going to be gone in the top 10. Those are all top 10 draft picks.
Top 10's going to be loaded this year.
Oh, yeah. No, I like that. This draft class is really good to me. It's loaded at corner. It is loaded at wide receiver. It is historically loaded at wide receiver.
And
great running backs. There's a lot of quarterbacks in this draft. There are 4 running backs that can go in the first round. Okay, J.K. Dobbins, Jonathan Taylor, DeAndre Swift, and Travis Etienne. They can all go in the first round. All of them. There's 15 wide receivers that can go in the first. They're not all going to go there, but any combination of 15 wide receivers could go in the first. Judy, Lamb, Henry Ruggs, Devontae Smith, Justin Jefferson, Chenault. I know I'm missing some, but there's a ton.
I think
Hamler, Ayuk, Tyler Johnson, Colin Johnson, loaded. Donovan Peoples-Jones, there are a million wide receivers in this draft.
I think Jonathan Taylor is going to tear up the NFL.
Who?
Jonathan Taylor.
Oh, I think so too. There are going to be years where you're going to be calling him the best running back in the NFL.
He's going to be
best fit for him, Jonathan Taylor. And they should draft him in the first round. I'm not kidding.
Colts?
Tampa should draft Jonathan Taylor in the first round.
Yeah?
Oh, my God, yeah. Oh, my God.
Why do you say that?
Because imagine Jonathan Taylor with those 2 wide receivers. I get that Jameis Winston is an issue, but do you have any idea there's the numbers that Jameis would put up, the offense that you would have if you had Jonathan Taylor at running back to go along with Ronald Jones?
Okay.
First round.
I would like to see him go. Okay, no, actually that's fine. I'd be okay with that.
What if Tua doesn't drop? You've got teams like Cleveland, the Jets, who don't need quarterbacks. They already got one. Those 2 teams could use that Tua Tagovailoa picture as trade leverage.
I don't think so, because no team is going to buy that they're going to draft Tua. They have Baker and Darnold. They're not going to leverage
but
that.
That's the thing. Those teams don't need a quarterback.
Teams are going to have leverage with Tua if the team that is picking before them wants to take Tua. So it makes sense for if the Giants are trying to sell to the Chargers, listen, the Dolphins want Herbert. If trade up with us so you can get Herbert instead, and you give us this to do that. That's where the leverage is going to come from. The teams that need quarterbacks are the teams that need quarterbacks. It isn't going to be like when San Francisco traded back with Chicago when Chicago got Trubisky. Where San Francisco was saying, listen, we're going to take Trubisky if you don't trade up. And the Bears traded up because they wanted Mitch. So
would it be a race, though? I guess a race to get to it if he does fall, and the Jets and Browns are kind of looking at that and saying, okay, you want Tua, come and get him. We'll give you Tua. You want Tua, come and get him.
If a team like Indianapolis
Colts,
or
Bucks,
a team like
Colts, Bucks.
Yeah, Buccaneers. There could be teams that are going that could be saying that. Yeah, absolutely.
Heck, even Tennessee,
Patriots,
New England.
That's what I'm telling you. New England is going to draft a quarterback in the first round. The time has come. It has. I'm sorry. It is. They are going to do it.
blow my brains out if they drafted Tua.
No, they're going to wait a year and then draft Trevor Lawrence. You'll watch.
All right, that's the news.
Watch your mouth, Evan.
Big J journalist Matt Catarazzolo here on a Monday.
Just put it out there so when it
All right,
happens.
coming up next, Ray Anzelowitz is here, so we will bring him on right after this on the Haystack and the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Worldwide Sports Radio presents the Haystack Show with Mike Guido.
Here we go. Hour number 3. It's the Haystack and the Worldwide Sports Radio Network, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, WorldwideSportsRadio.com. Mike Guido, Evan Mazza, Matt Catarazzolo, my Big J journalist. Good to have you in hour number 3. I want to bring on now. We thought we weren't going to have him, but we ended up having him. He sent me a text. He's just like, wait, scratch that. He's like, I could be there in 15 minutes. Ray Anzelowitz, president of Gotham Hoops, our inside NBA man. Ray, it's good to have you on, bud. Thanks for coming.
Here. I'm just trying to keep you guys on your toes.
All right, so before we get into, because I'm going to get into NBA, I'm going to get into college football, college basketball, that's fine. But I know you're a Giant guy, right?
Yes, sir.
So Cowboys, they hired Mike McCarthy. And you said something before that I thought was pretty interesting. Like, what is that? Like, Mike McCarthy to the Cowboys, does it feel like a good move to you?
It does, and I'm disappointed to say that as a Giants fan. But I think the Cowboys didn't reach for someone. Like I said off there, they could have tried to bring in a college guy, whether it was even someone like in-state like Matt Rule, who I know the Giants are going after. But they went with a guy with a proven track record and someone that has succeeded at the highest level in the NFL. So I thought really it was a good job for the Cowboys.
Now, for a guy like, and this kind of applies to both college and pro, right? So the Giants right now, they're kind of leading the charge for Matt Rule now, who is killing it, has totally rebuilt Baylor. Players love him. The Giants are getting younger. The young players love the culture that Matt Rule brings. How important is, is going to sound like a pretty redundant question, but the culture for young, youthful teams, does that have to be kind of like first check off on your list when hiring a coach?
I think it does, and truthfully, I could probably speak more for basketball than any other sport, primarily football. But just because you're talking about a guy that needs to be the leader of men, but when we get to football, that's a leader of 53 men,
right?
Compared to just the 15 or so on the NBA roster,
right?
So, but with that said, I'd have to agree that implementing a culture and solidifying your role as like I said, the leader of men in the organization is a priority number one. So, yeah, that's certainly at the top of the list as the Giants search for their new head coach.
All right, now let's shift to the NBA. Your specialty, the root of your specialty. I'll say that. I'm struggling for words. I don't understand. I'm terrible at that. Matt, whatever.
That's kind
okay,
of,
quit chuckling at me.
That's a Monday thing right there.
Yeah, it's Monday. Hey, give me a break. All right, so
no, you're not going to break.
Is Milwaukee separating themselves? Okay, they're 32-5. They're the best team in the East by far. And the Lakers went a little bit on a skid. The Lakers have won 5 straight. I'm going to get into them in a second. But is Milwaukee separating themselves from everybody else?
No, I don't think so. Not even in the East. And, again, the only other team I would maybe throw into contention there is just the Boston Celtics. I've been blown away with how well they've been playing. I don't believe that they're that they're eye to eye with the Bucks yet, but I thought that I believe that they're closing the gap in the Eastern Conference. And then, despite the Lakers almost coughing up a game last night against the lowly Detroit Pistons, I think the Lakers and the Bucks are certainly on another level, but one has not surpassed the other, at least this far in the season, in my eyes.
So, I mean, I'm not supposed to panic about the Lakers yet, right? Like, because
no.
I'm getting to the point where, okay, but is it fair for me to say that the Lakers are streaky?
I don't think so. But just to, I mean, I don't want to jump the gun here, but I think they need to make a move. And someone that I would have thought would be the odd man out, and we're just starting to hear his name, is Kyle Kuzma.
Yeah.
So
I've heard a lot of that too.
Just lately though, like in the past couple of days.
Right.
And, I came to a realization that they don't need him to win. And it's proven. I mean, not only were they winning games with him sidelined, but now when he plays, I mean, I just don't know how much
He's kind of a tweener. He's just positionless, it seems like.
He does not have a solidified role there. I wonder if Rob Pelinka can call up David Griffin and say, we made a mistake on the trade and in the contract. We really meant to give you Kuzma. Can we have back Brandon Ingram?
No.
and see what David Griffin says, because the Lakers would be a completely different team if they had Ingram coming off the bench or even starting. But again, I don't think the Lakers are streaky. They're fine, but I do see them making a move before the trade deadline.
Who do you think is a good fit there? Like if there was a guy that you could pick that might be available that the Lakers should try and pursue, throw me a name. Throw me a name or two. What's coming to your mind?
The first name that comes to the top of my mind, just because he's been in trade rumor just about as much as anybody, and you'll appreciate this, but Kevin Love.
So interesting that you say that.
Yeah, I don't, just because I'm really trying to think of it from both perspectives. So yes, we know the Lakers are looking into trades for Kyle Kuzma. To what degree, I'm not sure, but we also know that Kevin Love is as good as gone in Cleveland.
Kevin Love's done.
Yeah,
he's done. He's gonna get traded in a week.
So with that said, and I mentioned this on the show a couple weeks ago, like it's very important for the Cavs' future on who they acquire in this Kevin Love deal, whether it's directly or who they flip this person for, a la what the Warriors will potentially do with D'Angelo Russell. But I think Kevin Love comes in and helps the Lakers. He gives them he's another veteran with championship experience, and he just provides more, especially on the offensive end, than Kyle Kuzma does. And then on the flip side, Kuzma comes in and is your budding star and your new go-to for a rather lackluster Cleveland franchise. So that's just the first guy that comes to mind.
Do the Lakers have the assets, however, to make a big splash move? Or do they need to settle for the ancillary? Because, I mean, they traded a lot for Anthony Davis.
Yep.
So are they even going to have the assets to go get players that could be really huge game changers?
It's tough, and
truthfully, there aren't a lot. It doesn't seem like there's a lot available. A lot of the teams that are tanking are extending their superstars. Mm-hmm. So, like Bradley Beal is going to stay in Washington. It seems like forever.
Yeah. Well, and Washington is an interesting one just because they're one of the very few teams that has an all-star riding the bench, or rather sitting the season, in John Wall.
Right.
And not many teams have that luxury. So I understand where Washington, and at the end of the day, you have to sell tickets. So, I mean, the Wizards without Bradley Beal are almost a G League team. And literally, because they've been bringing up G League guys to fill roster spots. But going back to Lakers, their biggest trade asset is Kyle Kuzma. But why? And they mortgaged their future because not only did they give away Hard Ball and Ingram and a plethora of future draft picks, but Kuzma is interesting and I think difficult to deal because of his contract. He's one of those few second rounders that is more valuable than what he's being paid.
Well, he's a first, isn't he? He's a late first.
I thought he was a second rounder.
No, I think he's a late first.
Regardless, whatever he's making is minimal compared to what Kevin Love is earning.
Correct.
So that's going to come into play when you're looking to deal Kyle Kuzma, because you have to make it work financially.
What about if they attached somebody like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope to him? Because KCP's making good money.
LeBron will not allow that.
Really?
No, I'm half joking.
I'm actually kind of glad that you brought that up. Do you think that the rumors about Kuzma are stemming from the Kuzma trainer thing? Because of course it might not, but of course now that the rumors are coming out, it's awkward timing at this point.
Maybe 5%. Just because I think we can agree that, similar to Kevin Durant, LeBron James is a sensitive guy, and whether he expresses it or not, he may take stuff like that to heart.
Yeah.
So 5% may be because, and at the end of the day, it's hard. We don't know that Kuzma's trainer didn't say that because Kuzma said it to him. So like what I'm trying to say is Kuzma's trainer may just be relaying the same sentiment that Kuzma has mentioned to him. But at the end of the day, I think it's 95% on court, and Kuzma is just not the fit there. They don't need him to win, so might as well move him while you can before you're forced to pay him more money than he's actually worth.
Right. Well, I mean, you're probably right about that. And again, Kuzma just not. It doesn't seem like he holds value. All right, I have a trade for you.
Yep.
You ready? I'm not going to get into draft picks or anything like that. But if it was working around something like this, could the Lakers trade Kuzma plus for D'Angelo Russell? Trade him to Golden State.
I think if you're Golden State, you're not pulling the trigger on that because you're not getting back nearly what you can for a guy like D'Angelo Russell in return for Kyle
Even
Kuzma.
if it's Kuzma plus in draft picks.
No, because, and I mentioned this before, the Warriors championship window is so small, and I just briefly mentioned it. The Lakers don't have a first for the next couple of years. So if I feel that a top pick like James Wiseman won't help the Warriors, a number one pick 4 years from now certainly isn't going to help the Warriors in this small window that they have. So that's something I don't think that the Warriors would go for.
Yeah, because I'm looking around the league right now, and I just don't see very many players that might be obtainable. Because like I said, like a lot of teams are in. We've kind of gotten to the point where a lot of good players are just playing for playoff teams that aren't selling. Like Jimmy Butler plays for Miami; he's not going anywhere. Raptors aren't trading Kyle Lowry. Like you just see a lot of these teams that have players. Like Pacers aren't going to trade Malcolm Brogdon or Oladipo or like you're running out of options here.
The Lakers are going to have to get creative. Whether it's like a Kyle Kuzma for Jonathan Isaac, even though I don't even think the Magic would do that at this point, just because of how well Isaac has been, especially on the defense.
Yeah, Isaac's a good player.
So exactly. But what I'm saying is, like, it would have to be a guy like that would be intriguing enough for a team to cough up a rising player to get a guy like Kuzma that they think could one day be the face of the franchise when he's not needed with the Lakers.
Here's an idea for you, and it might not be ideal because he's not a great three-point shooter. What about DeMar DeRozan? Could the Lakers sacrifice a player like Kuzma, and again maybe somebody like KCP, and maybe try to bring in a player like DeRozan who isn't a great three-point shooter, but is as good of a mid-range shooter as there is in the league?
I agree. So not to think about this too much, but. I believe DeRozan, this is a contract year for him. So I don't think that the Lakers would be able to re-sign him, and I'm not sure if they're willing to cough up or to let Kuzma go for a guy on a 1-year rental. But on the surface, I think that would be a fine fit, especially. But I mean, you would have to start DeRozan, so you push a 3-point shooter like Danny Green to the bench, where I think he's more effective playing with guys like LeBron and AD.
Oh yeah, right.
So it would be interesting to how they would have to work that out.
So now I want to shift to that because we're kind of talking, trades and buying, selling, all that interesting stuff that people love. Portland right now is 15-22. Okay, they are really underwhelming. I thought they were a bona fide playoff team. Is it possible that they could be selling off pieces? They're not going to trade Dame Lillard, but I've heard C.J. McCollum a lot.
Yeah, well, that's been for the past couple of years.
Oh, my God. But it's gaining a lot of steam this year because they're getting viewed as they can't play. They're hurt a little bit because Nurkic is hurt, but they've got big men. It's Whiteside and Collins are good big men.
So how about this? How about tying it all together? Again, I don't think it'll work out financially, but that's besides the point right now.
McCollum to the Lakers? That's what I mean. That's where this is coming from. I don't think
in exchange for Kuzma and whatever else.
Yeah.
Because I think that's a fit because you have a guy like Melo who's at the tail end of his career. You have a guy like Nasir Little that isn't a solidified starter yet, and I think Kuzma would be almost a perfect fit.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in on that. You think Melo's still got stuff left? Melo's playing decent
No, he is.
basketball.
Yeah, I mean, he's playing. Is this not the MO for his career? He's playing decent basketball, but his team is losing.
Right.
So-
Well, there you go. But I'll say this: to his credit, Portland was losing before they got
Correct.
Melo
No,
too.
of
so.
course, no, absolutely. I didn't say that, or I didn't mean to.
No,
say
no,
that,
I hear.
to put it on him.
No, I hear you. I'm with you. I do think it's funny that's the kind of way that people can look at these kind of things, is because we can make that joke about Melo. It's really bad. All right. As far as like the Clippers and the Rockets, is there anybody rubbing the tail of the Lakers right now at the top? Is it still the Clippers in your mind?
No.
Because tell me if I'm crazy, right? I'm losing it for the Clippers.
No, as am I, and I'm sorry to have to repeat this, but they're the one team I wish we could just fast forward and see who they are come playoff time, because they're not only is it unenjoyable to watch, but it's just so difficult to enjoy the Clippers as a whole, because they're missing pieces on a nightly basis.
Yeah,
and I'm growing to believe that that's going to hinder them when April, March,
when it matters.
April, May comes. So
I mean, they're taking load management to a different level, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, they are literally. It is a different player every night, and Kawhi sits out two games a week.
So, Kawhi, I mean, it goes without saying, but Kawhi and Paul George on the Clippers on the court are a great team. You take one of them off, and
they're all right.
Yeah, above average. I mean, possibly win more games than they lose, but it's undeniable that they need both those guys to for a chance at the championship, and it's tough when they're not playing together.
What is your feeling about Harden and Westbrook right now? How is that working for you?
It's fine because they're at the top of their division. So I haven't been as hard on them as some other people have. Cough, cough. But,
well, yeah.
But I mean, and truthfully, they're so tough to stop, because you know what you have to do. You have to limit number 13, and he just goes out there and shows you a million different reasons why you can't stop him consistently, and that just goes to show just how dominant he is. So,
but they also have the ability to lay eggs. I mean, they really do. I mean,
yeah, 100%,
in the past
100%.
couple of weeks, they've lost to Golden State on the road on Christmas Day, and then losing to New Orleans. Those are the two worst teams in the West.
But you want to know what? They're at the top of the division, and you're going to have to lose games like that. But and they make up for it. So again, you can't diminish those losses, but they're also winning games that they may have no business winning at the same time. So it all evens out. But like I said, they've skyrocketed, no pun intended, to the top of their division, and I think that they're only going to continue to get better. But just tying it all together, I'm really intrigued to see if Daryl Morey and co. pull the trigger and make a move for, I don't know who, but just make a move just based on how well they've been playing. But they also have to think that I don't know, they just have to play devil's advocate within themselves and see if they need something more than just Westbrook and Harden moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that it's interesting that they're I'm not surprised that they're good early in the year. It's later where I think that they could run into some trouble. All right, switch to college draft stuff. Okay, recently I've been seeing James Wiseman is dropping. And I understand that it's really early. Draft isn't for another 5 months. I understand that. But people are souring on Wiseman. Why? You're dumbfounded. You're like, what? What?
I guess because some people that build mocks aren't going to see him, so it's tough to judge a player of that caliber without seeing him compete.
Yeah, but does that mean they got to take Denny Avdija over him? I mean,
no,
the guy plays in Dusseldorf.
It absolutely doesn't, and that's why I'm surprised that people are dropping Wiseman. I don't think. I mean, I think at this point he can't hurt himself. Only other people can can help themselves in order to surpass him. And like I've said for a while now, I think it's a 3-man race with both LaMelo and Anthony Edwards on the outside looking in. But at the same time, those guys can only help themselves where Wiseman is just stuck there.
You tell me this, because you and I are both really high on LaMelo Ball, right? LaMelo's body looks like an NBA player.
Yep.
He didn't always,
no,
right? A really scrawny, skinny, obnoxious, loud, annoying kid, right? And now he's matured, he's quiet, his body's filled out, he cut his hair. I mean, he looks like an NBA player. His stock is doing nothing but rising for me. I get the injuries a thing, but this is a good basketball player. His IQ has improved dramatically. Now, here's where I want to go with this. Do you think that is because he's playing professionally in another country? Or do you think that would have happened anyway if he was eligible for NCAA?
It's tough to really say, but I would lean with the fact that he's playing pro ball in a legitimate and competitive league. Because think about it, this is not his first rodeo. Where was he? Lithuania?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
where he one side of the court he had goats playing.
So I mean, and that's just a small example just to show you the landscape of pro basketball abroad, especially from Europe to Oceania and Australia. But yeah, he's playing in maybe top 5 league in the world, and he's more than holding his own, if not dominating on a nightly basis. So there's no way that hasn't helped him mature both on and off the court, and that's only going to help him going forward.
Is anybody in college basketball this year any good?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Really?
Teams or players?
The teams.
Yeah. So I mean,
so I see Gonzaga at 1, I see Duke at 2, and then Kansas at 3, and then I don't know who plays for Baylor, and I don't know who plays for Auburn. I'm lost. I mean, listen. Even last year, which was kind of an oddball year in the NCAA tournament, you had Virginia, who was a powerhouse. That's fine. Okay, but even Texas Tech had Jarrett Culver. Who has anybody? I don't see this.
I mean, it's tough because there aren't a lot of heralded names out there in college hoops now, and I mean, aside from like Killian Tilly for Gonzaga, you probably can't name many other of their starters. But
that's right.
They're the best team in college basketball. I know it's easy to say that now just because they're sitting atop the rankings, but and they also have the luxury of playing in the West Coast Conference, and they won't have to go up against many or rarely any blue bloods. I mean, St. Mary's will probably be their toughest out throughout the rest of the season. So I don't think Duke is deserving of the number 2. I think these are the 3 teams I've mentioned past couple of weeks, but I think like Gonzaga, Kansas, and Maryland I think are a couple of teams to watch out for come March Madness. But with the way that the college hoop season is going, I mean, whether it's like a West Virginia or Villanova, there's certainly teams that have been playing well that could just as easily make a run. So this should be one of the more wacky college hoop seasons, or rather March Madness that we've had in the past couple of years. And
Dayton is your 15th ranked team, according to the AP poll.
And Dayton is going to make it out of the first weekend. So Obi Toppin is their big guy. He's actually New York native, and I've seen him in mocks, whether it's a lottery or top half of the first round. But he's a big dude that can come in and contribute. He actually does remind me a little bit of Kyle Kuzma, just based on his size and skill set. I actually think that Obi's game is a little bit more polished. He's a little bit bigger, uses his body better than Kuzma does in the lane. But Dayton is another team that's just going to come in and surprise people. They gave a couple of blue bloods a run for their money out in Maui around Thanksgiving. So that's what I'm saying. There's a bunch of teams that can come out here and have a nice little run in March.
Right. All right. Great stuff.
Appreciate it.
Great stuff. Ray Anzello, it's our Inside NBA man. Let's go to Matt Cataruzzolo with the news on a Monday.
I was going to say, where's my music? It's like not there. All right, so it's easy. Over the weekend, there was a lot of good stuff, a lot of good storylines, but one that was actually particularly interesting and pretty heartwarming, actually, is Josh McCown. So Josh McCown is 40 years old. first ever NFL player to make their playoff debut at 40 years old. So listen to this, right? Josh McCown, it's like Josh McCown has been in the NFL forever, right? So he handed off Emmitt Smith's last touchdown and threw Larry Fitzgerald's first touchdown. Crazy. This guy belongs in, like, the Smithsonian memorabilia area of the NFL history.
I know.
It's super interesting. And last night he was very emotional after losing, obviously, with the Seahawks. When Carson Wentz went down, he was put in the third quarter. And he was super emotional just to say that to get back out there, to be a journeyman and to finally make his playoff debut, he said was a really big moment for him.
Is his career over?
I don't know if it's over. I don't know if he commented at all on his future, but it seemed as if he was very emotionally affected by this. But now,
Sure he is.
seeing as if Carson Wentz's health is now in question and maybe his longevity, maybe does McCown stick around for a little bit? Because they can't. Last year, or 2017, they got bailed out by their backup quarterback when Wentz went down. But, that's not really working out now because they don't have Foles anymore. So maybe they do need someone else to kind of fill that role. I mean, should Philadelphia start looking at quarterback concerns?
I mean, listen, the possibility's always there for him to stay around. But
They popped him. They brought him out of retirement. He was literally retired. They
he was
brought him
coaching
out.
high school football in South Carolina or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Or North Carolina. And I mean, listen, good for him. I'm glad he was able to make the playoffs once in his career.
Yeah, and it's interesting because he's played for so many teams, and not one of those teams in the year. And
He's the Bartolo Colon of the NFL.
All right, Marv. Don't compare Big Sexy to Josh.
No,
McCown.
I'm sorry. He's more like the Edwin Jackson of the NFL.
Okay. Yeah, that's better.
NJ.com, NewJersey.com has an article up this morning. Josh McCown is the next great NFL head coach, and the Giants should hire him.
Yeah.
What did I tell you,
I hate
Evan,
NJ.com.
that the Jets should have hired Josh McCown to be their offensive coordinator? I'm telling you right now, they should do it.
Well, it would have been great. It would have been great to have him around to still help around Darnold.
Yes,
But Adam
thank
gave-
you.
but Adam
McCown knows Darnold better than Darnold knows Darnold.
But Adam Gase wanted Darryl Loggins, wanted his own guy. So, hey.
Yeah.
the Jets-
Well,
the-
screw
the-
Gase and hire McCown.
I mean, I would love to see
If
the
I'm
Jets-
an
I'd
owner
love
of the
to see
team,
Jets-
say, listen,
If-
we're bringing Josh McCown in. We don't care what your crazy eyeballs say.
I'd love to see
eyeballs.
crazy eyeballs. I'd love to see Josh McCown back with the Jets to help out Darnold. I think Josh McCown would be a great fit anywhere as a coach to help anywhere, right? Put him in Cleveland. He has a good relationship with the Browns. He's been in Cleveland. Get him back in Cleveland. Have him help Baker Mayfield.
He has been in Cleveland before.
He has a good relationship with Cleveland. I mean, get Cleveland to bring him back. Maybe he becomes.
He's
going to
be a great NFL coach.
Maybe he becomes a QB coach there, helps out Baker Mayfield. I think he'd be a good fit anywhere. I love Josh McCown.
He knows the game.
I love Josh McCown too, but there's a lot of people that can go the coaching route. They go the broadcasting route. I could see McCown doing either.
He could.
But I think McCown would be a great
He actually
broadcaster.
was.
Absolutely.
That's another thing. Wasn't he doing broadcasting in retirement? Was he on ESPN for a bit?
I think he was just getting into it.
Yeah, he was just getting into it.
All right. What's next?
Yeah. So, so this weekend, a lot of people are raving about how the last-second Kyle Rudolph touchdown was possibly a push-off and how the Saints got screwed yet again with not another PI call.
Oh, it clearly was. PI.
Yeah, so that's my question. Do you think it was or should have been ignored like it was?
I mean, it was, but I don't think it's the reason the Saints lost the game.
I don't think so either.
Like, the Saints have this thing where they love to blame the officials. They love to blame the officials. And I understand.
Well, the Rams call was clearly... but the NFL officials even said that they whiffed and said that it should have been
right. No,
multiple
that
penalties.
they whiffed on that one. But again, if you're relying on a call for you to win a football game, then you probably shouldn't win that football game.
Okay, so if you're remaining on a call, so what if the D Ford offside was never called last year? Then what?
The Chiefs probably win that football game.
Okay, and we'd have a different Super Bowl champion. So I think we can rely on officials to make one call to determine the outcome of the game because sometimes it does.
Yeah,
make
but
a big
that's not
difference.
on the officials. That's on the player. The player made the mistake. D Ford made that
Okay.
mistake. Like this is more like should the call have been made or not? I think the call should have, but to me this It has way less to do with officiating, it has way more to do with overtime. Overtime has to get fixed. It's got to get fixed.
How?
Give the Saints the ball.
But they had their chance. You had your chance to stop the Vikings from getting into the end zone. You have to hold them to at least a field goal or hold them to a punt.
Right,
They
but
didn't stop a touchdown.
Right, but you are determining the game by a coin toss. You're determining the game by a coin toss.
So why did the Saints? So the Saints get
The Saints don't get to throw their best at the Vikings' best. They don't.
It's always been like that.
But you also have to play defense, and the Saints' defense. You were giving.
Agreed. But that means the Vikings
if the defense gets a pick six, and the game is over.
Well, okay, that's fine. That's fine. If they throw a pick six, the game is over.
They win.
That's fine. But I still think possession has to change. You've got to be able.
Like college.
You've got to give yourself a shot with
at,
both of your units.
Then we're looking at like 45 to 40 overtime games, or 55 to 30, 53 overtime games, if we're doing the college football.
But here's the thing that doesn't make sense: is why is it that if you kick a field goal, the other team gets the ball back? But if you score a touchdown, the game's over.
Because the ultimate goal is to get into the end zone and score a touchdown.
No, the ultimate goal is to win the game. The ultimate game is to score.
And how do you win the game most of the time? You score touchdowns.
Yeah, but I'm not looking for most of the time. I'm looking for fair. I'm looking for if the Vikings were able to kick a field goal, why is that not game over and a touchdown is?
Because the Saints can march down and put
right,
up,
but
and
can't
put
they do that? Can't they do that? Can't the Saints answer back with a touchdown also?
Yeah, yes, but then that's changing the whole premise of the NFL overtime.
I don't care. I want to change the premise of NFL overtime. I want both teams to get the ball. Yeah. Okay, if the NFL is doing this, they're saying, all right, by the flip of this coin in overtime, we are going to allow Kirk Cousins and the Minnesota Vikings to get the ball against the Saints defense. But the Saints won't have the opportunity to let Drew Brees win a game.
But it's always been like that. And
I know,
instead
but
of going
that's
from
a
sudden
flaw.
death. Yeah, well.
I don't like that rule. I'm not into it.
But but again, you see, we're talking about it because Drew Brees didn't get a chance, right? That's what we're talking about. We're talking about because Drew Brees.
Well, I've been saying this for years.
But we also talked about it last year. Why? Because Pat Mahomes didn't get the chance, right? At the end of the day, it's offense and defense. The defensive unit has to stop the opponent's offense from getting into the end zone. I think that's fair. And hold
to me, it isn't.
That's and hold to a field goal.
If you're a team like,
if you hold to a field goal or you hold to a punt or maybe you get a turnover, your offense gets the ball back with a chance to kick a field goal to tie or win the game.
Well, here's my thing: if it's a team like Kansas City is praying that their offense that they get to receive the ball first. Okay, the Chiefs don't get the opportunity to win the game because their team isn't built on defense. Okay, you're not throwing best against best. You are determining the game by a coin toss.
But that's not the NFL. Okay, but that's not the NFL's fault. That's the Chiefs' fault for not building a good defense.
Okay,
that's the Chiefs' fault.
That's fine. But you're not allowing you're not allowing both teams to give themselves a fair shot. You're not allowing that.
Well, the defense has a shot. Now we're leaving the defense
you're
out of it.
You're forcing your defense to make a stop.
And that's their job. That's
but
what
you're not giving you're not giving the opportunity for the offense to answer back on the defense's mistake.
But what if
that's my point?
All right. Well, what if the Vikings throw an interception? What if Kirk Cousins throws a pick? Then the Vikings defense has to fix what the Vikings offense.
Exactly. Kirk Cousins had his opportunity and threw a pick.
But we're not talking about that. We're talking about the offense because it's offense all the time. That's how we always look at it.
What I'm saying is that both teams should be able to compete with both sides of the football. Okay, it's not just about that the Saints should have an opportunity to score. It's that the Vikings should also have to be responsible for stopping the Saints. Both teams, I think, should get the ball in overtime.
I can see that.
I think the overtime is fine. There's no fixing the overtime. Stop Kirk Cousins. Seriously, when Kirk Cousins got the ball first at overtime, who in the world was thinking he's going to the end zone and winning the game for the back? Who? No one thought it. Nobody.
Okay.
Nobody thought it.
Okay, Evan. But
And when
why
he did, we all it was shocking. It was incredible.
Right, but what if the Saints win the toss? Do they win the game?
I guess we'll never know. I guess
that's
we'll never
my
know.
point.
I guess we'll never know. But
That's
you know what?
my point.
I guess we'll never know. But it's the Saints' defense's job to stop Kirk stinking Cousins, who can't win a big game to save his life. It's the Saints' defense's job at home in the Superdome to stop Kirk Cousins and win the game. If we're just going to do this, then just take defenses out. Take it out. Then just take defense out. Let's go back to the old overtime rules. I don't know. Let's just take defenses out then. Let's just have offense versus offense and see who scores last, and have it be 83-80.
Evan, that's my point. Is overtime should allow the teams. It's like playing. They said it's like starting a new football game. Okay. It's like starting a new football game.
So then we're doing a coin toss because we start the game with a coin toss. We start every game with a coin toss.
I don't mind that. Start the new game with a coin toss. That's fine. But if on the first possession that team scores, you're telling me the other team shouldn't have a chance to answer back? What if the Vikings defense falters also?
Hold no field goal. All they have to do is hold no field goal.
That's fine.
And then they get the ball back.
Okay, that's fine. But why wouldn't the Saints get the opportunity to drive down the field also?
They would if they held them to a field goal.
But why should they have to?
Because that's the rule.
If they give up a touchdown and then the Vikings give up a touchdown, guess who gets the ball again? The Vikings do. And then it goes on from there. Okay, and then if the Vikings score again, that means game is over. All I'm saying is that both teams should have the opportunity to possess the ball.
Why would it be over if just the Vikings score? So they're saying if the Vikings and the Saints scored and the Vikings scored again, the game's over?
Yes.
So why would
it's a tie.
But why would the Saints not get a second chance? So if the Vikings score and the Saints are
because they both had an opportunity to possess the ball.
But the Vikings got the ball twice and the Saints got the ball once?
Correct.
But how is it any different from only the Vikings having the ball once and the Saints not having it?
Because the Saints don't have the opportunity to answer back.
Why wouldn't they the second
because
time?
Because then your responsibility then goes towards the defense. Then your responsibility is to getting a stop.
On the last effort, the defense gets the opportunity. Come on, no.
But why? Why shouldn't both teams possess the ball?
No, but that's fine. But if you're gonna do that, then you're allowing the teams to play offense until they don't score. So you get a touchdown, I get a touchdown, you get the ball back. You get a touchdown, I get the ball back to answer, just like I did the first time.
Okay, so why don't we make it? We play a full another quarter.
It is another quarter.
Why? But it isn't.
No,
because the game stops until somebody scores.
If the game keeps going, it is another quarter. It's a 15-minute quarter, and it keeps going until.
All right. So how about this in Major League Baseball? How about this in Major League Baseball? The first team that scores a run wins. So if the road team scores a run, they win.
But you're talking about different sports.
But what's the difference? What's the difference? Because the defense and pitching should be able to hold that. Should be able to hold the opposing lineup to not score any runs.
There's a top and a bottom. So there's a top of the inning and a bottom of the inning. There's a home team for a reason.
Exactly.
You literally get last licks in baseball.
Both teams possess the ball. Both teams possess the ball. What I'm saying is that if in Major League Baseball, they get to play both sides of the inning. Right? They don't get...
But sometimes...
Because we're holding football teams to a different standard than we hold than any other team in any other sport.
You only get to the bottom of the inning or the bottom of the ninth if you're losing or if you're tied. So it's not always that you're going to play the
if you're losing game. If you're losing or if you're tied. Right? Exactly. So if you go into extra innings and then the home team scores in the bottom half of the inning, it took that inning for them to get the lead. Game is over. That's fine. But if the road team, if it's the top of the 10th, and on the first pitch, the first hitter of the inning hits a home run and takes the lead, why shouldn't the game be over? The pitcher didn't do his job of getting everybody out. It's the same concept.
It's not though because you didn't flip a coin to decide. Like if you're going to the 10th inning, you know what team is gonna have the bat in their hand.
Sure, but the pitcher still didn't do his job. He still didn't do his job.
I think it's two completely different things because it's definitely two different sports. But at least, like Evan said, you're starting with a coin toss. So just because if you're home or away, you still have a chance to have the ball in your hands. But if it's baseball and then go to the top of the 10th, you know who's pitching, you know who's hitting at the top of the 10th inning.
Okay.
It's apples and oranges.
All right. That's the news.
Yep.
Big J journalist Matt Catarazzolo here in a Monday. All right, Ray, thanks for coming on, bud. I really do appreciate it.
My pleasure.
All
My
right,
pleasure.
coming up next, bold prediction Monday. I give you 3 bold predictions that will more than likely be wrong into the future. That's coming up next. It's the Haystack on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. You're listening to the Haystack Show on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
All right, good to have you back. It's Bold Prediction Monday, so I give you 3 bold predictions that will more than likely be wrong going forward in the future. All right, number 1 here is, said it before, the Patriots will offer Tom Brady a record number of money to come back to the Patriots. That, I think, is going to happen. Kraft loves him like a son. He's not going to want to see him play for anybody else. Brady's not giving a hometown discount. Record amount of money for Tom Brady to go back to New England.
So this is an offer, not the deal itself. Offer.
Yeah, the offer.
Okay.
All right, number 2, another Patriots thing. The Patriots will draft a quarterback in the first round this year. And I teased it before.
I was just going to say, you forgot about that.
Jake Fromm is perfect for New England.
Wow.
If Belichick is coaching, Jake Fromm has a great head on his shoulders, incredibly smart player.
Bulldog.
That would be a perfect fit.
First round, too.
First round. First round. In the 20s, they'll draft Jake Fromm. And number 3, the Browns will be the last team to hire their head coach. The Panthers and the Giants will both hire coaches before the Browns do.
I say that the Giants hire a coach by Thursday.
Thursday, yeah.
Thursday or Wednesday.
Yeah. And then the Browns hire a coach by the draft.
Giants rule. Giants will be rule. Panthers.
At this point, would anybody be surprised if that happened?
Giants will be rule. Panthers hire Bieniemy. Browns hire McDaniels.
There you go.
Book it.
Perfect. No, hey, listen, it makes a lot of sense. So there we go. 3 bold predictions. Am I crazy?
No.
Nah.
No.
Especially the third one. I mean, the third one.
The only thing I would
Third
say.
one I don't think is that bold.
The only thing I would say, the Patriots offer Brady that money. Does he take it? Or does he take his chances in free? Does he take his chances in free agency?
No, I think he does. If it's a record-setting amount of money, I think he does.
Okay.
I think the consensus around the league is Brady's not very good anymore. So, no, if they offer him 36, nope, we're good. All right, there we go. Matt Catarazzolo, Big J journalist, Evan Mazza, my producer. I'm Mike Guido. This is the Haystack in the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll see you.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.